Delta State to the North Central region, serving as a vital route for the movement of passengers, goods, and industrial materials. We further note that the line, which resumed operations on Wednesday, October 29th, after 3 months of suspension, has within just 4 days of service experienced a series of alarming technical failures, maintenance downtime on Thursday, a major mechanical fault on Friday that left passengers stranded until nearly midnight, and finally, a derailment near Agbo in Delta State on Saturday, November 1st, 2025. Deeply concerned, therefore, that while there has been fortunately no loss of life so far, these recurring mechanical breakdowns and derailments point to grave safety lapses, inadequate technical supervision, and poor maintenance culture within the NRC. If unaddressed, such incidents could lead to tragic outcomes in the future, a risk that cannot be ignored. The Senate should be aware that this latest derailment is not an isolated occurrence, as the Ujenwu-Itakpe standard gauge rail line has recorded a troubling series of derailments, service suspensions, and acts of vandalism in recent years. In the last 2.5 years, there are 10 incidents spreading from January the 22nd, 2023, a derailment near Kogi State, April 2023, a temporary service suspension following track instability near Agbo, Delta State, December 2023, vandalization of rail clips and fasteners around Agbaro, resulting in significant operational delays. May 2024, reported derailment around Owa-Alero, Edo State, which further disrupted service. June 2024, derailment near Ujenwu, Delta State, involving several coaches. While no injuries were reported, the service was suspended for 2 days. August 2024, service disruption caused by mechanical faults and vandalized signaling cables between Itakpe and Uromi. December 23, 2024, minor derailment at Akpara Station in Ethiopia East Local Government Area of Delta State. April 2025, the line was suspended for 72 hours following multiple engine failures that disrupted movements in both directions. May 2025, track vandalization reported near Agbaro in Delta State. July 15th and 16th, 2025, NRC suspended train operations on that corridor, citing technical challenges. Mr. President, these persistent failures reveal a systemic pattern of neglect that now threatens public safety and national infrastructure investment. The Senate should be further concerned that repeated acts of vandalism, including theft of rail clips, fasteners, and signaling equipment, have been reported along the corridor, compromising track integrity and increased derailment risk. The Senate should observe that the Ujenwu-Itakpe corridor currently operates only one daily passenger service in each direction, carrying hundreds of passengers. Yet, the route remains overstretched, under-maintained, and exposed to security threats due to insufficient surveillance and delayed technical inspection. I ask the Senate to acknowledge that while the federal government and the NRC have invested significantly in rail infrastructure, the absence of independent technical audits, weak safety enforcement, and a lack of real-time monitoring have limited operational reliability and passenger confidence. The Senate should be deeply concerned that though the feasibility studies and design works for the extension of the Ujenwu-Itakpe line to Abuja have already been completed, implementation has stalled for years, forcing passengers to still travel for over 4 hours by road from Itakpe to Abuja, thereby defeating the corridor's full economic potential and increasing travel hardship. the Senate should believe that extending the line to Abuja and modernizing the infrastructure will not only promote economic integration between the South-South and the North-Central regions, but also reduce road traffic fatalities, boost trade efficiency, and enhance Nigeria's overall transport resilience. Accordingly, sir, I ask that we resolve as follows. 1. To urge the Federal Ministry of Transport and the NRC to carry out immediate independent technical assessment of the Ijebu-Itakpe rail line to determine the root causes of the recent series of mechanical failures, vandalism, and derailments, and to implement corrective measures without delay. 2. To mandate the Senate Committee on Land Transport to conduct an on-the-spot oversight visit to the affected section of the line near Agbo and submit a comprehensive technical and safety report to the Senate within 2 weeks. 3. To call on the federal government to provide adequate budgetary support for the rehabilitation, modernization, and safety enhancement of the Ijebu-Itakpe corridor, including installation of advanced signaling systems, CCTV surveillance, track stabilization, and emergency response units along the line. 4. Request that the NRC increase operational capacity by deploying more coaches and ensuring at least 2 passenger trains services daily in each direction between Ijebu and Itakpe to ease passenger congestion and improve service reliability. 5, sir, to urge the Ministry of Transportation to commence immediate implementation of the approved extension of the Ijebu-Itakpe line to Abuja, building on the completed feasibility and design studies to ensure full interregional connectivity, reduce travel hardship, and unlock the corridor's economic potential. 6, Mr. President, to direct the NRC to strengthen operational safety protocols, improve passenger communication systems, and institutionalize regular preventive maintenance to avert future derailments and service disruption. And lastly, Mr. President, to recommend that the Federal Ministry of Transport establish a National Rail Safety and Standards Unit tasked with conducting periodic safety audits, enforcing compliance with international best practice, and ensuring accountability and transparency across all national rail corridors. Thank you, Mr. President. Do I need to move?
Distinguished Senator Ningi, I even thought, because we were sitting near to Senator Dando say, I thought something had happened before I came. I thought you had crossed.
Mr. President, thank you very much. My name is Senator Abdul Ningi, and I represent Bauchi Center of Bauchi State. Mr. President, this motion cannot come at a better time than now. Mr. President, this is a very, very sad story, sad development. This is a line that was constructed no more than 6 years ago. And this is just the southern corridor. You look at the times of derailment, over 11 derailments from 2023 to date. We are not even comparing the derailment of the northern corridor between Abuja and Kaduna. This is the summary, the tragic summary, Mr. President, of Nigeria as a nation that seeks development. Billions have been spent to construct these lines with the intention of bringing succor to our people. If you look at the road infrastructure in Nigeria and the nature of it, it was a welcome development when the then government of the day begin to nurse this idea of railway construction. But Mr. President, ab initio, from the beginning of that project to the completion of that project, we have not, as a country, we have not taken into consideration what went into that project first and foremost, and whether or not the lines laid were the top range lines that we've seen in other climes. If you compare the amount of money spent on railways in Nigeria between 2019 to date and other climes, Mr. Senate President, you will now know that we are not moving an inch. Mr. President, this is a huge indictment to even the National Assembly as an entity. How long, how many times have our committees actually take time to oversight some of these projects? This is about the 11th derailment. Have we had any report except today by a committee that is solely to oversight this project? Mr. President, the answer is no. Also, this is an indictment to various anti-graft agencies that we have in this country. The quantum of money spent and the terrible tragic derailments that happens day in, day out. Mr. President, nobody seems to care about it. It's costing lives, it's costing property, it's costing a lot of money. Tell me, how do we get another money to do these lines again? Considering the fact that all the two lines, the southern corridor, the northern corridor, money were borrowed to do it. But Mr. President, our bureaucrats, our experts compromise the standards. Look at Abuja, Kaduna, every 1-2 months. Nothing works. Even the escalators in the railway stations, they don't work. Nobody cares whether it works or not. So certainly this is a very sad development, and I don't know where we are going as a nation if we continue to borrow money. We didn't use petroleum money or any other money to develop these lines. We borrowed money from Chinese, and yet this is a tragedy we are harvesting. I think, Mr. President, we have to be more serious. We have to be more focused. Those who are responsible, the agency, the railway agencies, the Ministry of Transport, must come to account. Because we can't just allow all these things to be happening. A lot of times they say, President has created ministry and created ministers. And the president cannot do all these things at a time, because there are agents that are saddled with this responsibility. Even taking this matter to committee to do an investigation is neither here nor there, because the committee, ab initio, is actually saddled to oversight it. Where is the report? When did they travel? So, Mr. President, I think we need to be more serious, and I commend Senator Dapinone. These are things that will make a difference. These are things that will make democracy tick, because without parliament, Mr. President, democracy doesn't survive. We have to do what we ought to do and question those who are responsible for this sin. Mr. President, I so second.
Distinguished Senator President.